EY has like a coaching program for new parents. So when you come back from a parental leave, like you typically would get assigned. When I'm at work, I do my work very well. I serve my clients very well. I serve the partners that I work for very well. And so when I'm out of work, I don't feel any guilt of not working.
Hello! This is CPA Career Path Podcast with Rosie Flaherty, CPA MSA, where we dive into thrilling journeys in the world of accounting. This episode is proudly sponsored by Chapman University's Archibald College of Business and Economics, located in beautiful sunny Southern California. Are you thinking about pursuing a master's in accounting? Chapman's MSA program is tailored for ambitious professionals like you. With intimate class size and a collaborative atmosphere, you will receive personalized attention from world-class faculty who bring extensive industry expertise to the classroom. Enhance your accounting skills, fulfill CPA license requirements, and elevate your career with Chapman's flexible MSA program. Discover more and apply today at chapman.edu/MSA. So I know that as a manager, you are also responsible for training staffs as well and managing staffs as well. And a lot of staffs may reaching out to you, not just like staff, but like seniors, supervisor, or other maybe managers at the same level may reach out to you for some questions. How do you create a focused time for you to develop technical skills and also to get the job done?
That's a very good question. I feel like I learned that later on in my career, like blocking my calendar for a certain amount of time. It's just like, this is my focus time that I need to actually do some deep thinking, some deep work, or like do a specific amount of work without distractions. And that's something I now encourage my teams to do. Like, don't just like have your calendar open all day long without any amount of time. Like, it could be 1 hour here, 2 hours here that you just spend on focused work without any interruption, because that helps you work better. It helps you work more efficiently, and just it's a win-win for both parties.
So I'm just wondering if you can share some tips and advice when you manage staffs that have like difficult time to get the job done properly or difficult time to keep the job organized.
And I think that's a great question, because I think that happens to everyone. It happens to the best of us. Like, sometimes just starting a new job can be overwhelming, and you have the added pressure of you see your peers and you think, oh, well, I'm not performing like my peers. And then you start putting a lot of pressure on yourself. But I would say the first thing I would say is communicate, because to the extent that you have a great manager and a great senior, they're there to help you. That's their job, to help you do your work well, to help coach you, to help give you direction. And so if you feel like you're struggling with getting your job done or not even understanding what to do, I think you should be asking more questions. You should say, hey, I don't really understand what I'm doing. I'm stuck. Can you explain this to me? And just ask more questions, because that's the time for you to learn. That's the time for you to invest in yourself. And that's their job, to help you grow. And so you should be asking more questions so that they can keep teaching you and keep helping you and just keep pointing you in the right direction.
When you say asking questions, a lot of people are afraid of asking questions because they feel like they don't want to ask dumb questions. Even we say that no questions are dumb, just keep asking. And I always tell staff that because you are new, we don't have any expectations on you at all. So just ask anything. And we will answer all your questions for you. If you don't ask A1, and then when you go to A2 and you ask the questions that you wish you should have asked as A1, that's when you are in trouble, because now you move up to A2 and then we have some expectation on you. So for people like that, what is the best approach to them to encourage them to ask more questions?
Just also think about, like, what are you asking about, really? Like, is that something that maybe your peers could like help you with? Is that something that maybe you could do a little bit of research and have a few options? Like, say, okay, hey, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. I did some research internally, and these are the things I think might work. What are your thoughts? So that way it's not like you haven't actually done any type of research. You've not done any due diligence on your own to invest and investigate how to solve the problem. So that way it shows that you're thinking through like the problem. You're taking initiative to actually think through some solution rather than having it seem like you're always just asking questions without thinking through it, without actually having thoughts of your own. I think that might help make the process of asking questions a little bit more less painful, I guess, or more bearable.
And
Yeah.
you feel more confident when you go to someone else
Exactly.
to ask a question because you already
Yeah.
did your research.
Yeah, exactly. Confidence, what I would say. Yeah. It gives you more
Yes, and also
confidence for sure.
exactly. And also when you come to the question and maybe you can ask how to do the right research next time. That could be another question at the end of asking your original question. So
Hmm.
next time when some kind of similar question came out, you know exactly how to do the right research because I know in tax, research is such a huge key in
Hmm.
tax because you have to do a lot of tax regulation, rules research about all different kind of experience, all different kind of situations that you have with the client. I like how you advise staff that do some research that's super, super helpful. Come up
Yeah,
with your preparation.
yeah, and one thing I'll add as well is like as you ask the question and you learn from it, like also think through like how did this person actually answer the question for you, or how did they point you in the right direction, so that way you can use that as a guideline for the next time that you have a similar question, similar to what you're saying. Just thinking through like in the future, like what are the core principles for how this problem was actually solved? Like what can I away from this and apply in the next situation, so that way you're not like coming back, maybe the question might be different, but logistically like the core principles are the same. Like I would expect that you would figure it out the next time around and not come back with the same question, because now you understand the core principles, right? So that's something to just think about as well.
I like it because a lot of time people may try to try to memorize, and that's not the right way to do it. Because if you don't understand and you try to memorize it, next time you will forget right away.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, and you as a tax manager for about 3 years and you got promoted to a tax senior manager. What's the difference between a manager and senior manager role at this point in your career?
Yeah, I would say senior manager, it's you're doing a lot of the same things as a manager, and then you're now doing a lot of like trying to see how you can grow the business and like bring in more work and provide more services you aren't currently providing. So I would say it's very similar, but now you have a little bit more experience because you've spent all those years as a manager and you have more technical knowledge to at least sell more, build more relationships, provide more services, and also keep developing your team as well.
So it's looked like when you just got to a tax senior manager, you had your baby. Because I was thinking like 3 years in the tax senior manager, your baby is about 3 years old now. So it's that timeline. Oh my God, how could you manage your energy, your balance when you just had a newborn baby and then got promoted to the senior manager?
Yeah, so I got promoted once I just had my daughter. Yeah, you're right with the timeline. And so when I came back to work after maternity leave, I just remember thinking, "Oh my God, like I can't work the same way that I used to work." Cuz like I remember when I was like from staff up until manager, like I didn't really care like if I had extra work and like I needed to work extra long hours and work all the way into the night and work super long. Like I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll like no one can outwork me. I can work the hours. Like I don't really care. I can work, but like because I wasn't really responsible for anyone else except myself. But now that I have a daughter who has an expectation that I need to take care of, I need to pick her up from school, I need to make sure she's fed and things like that. I have to be very, very intentional about how I'm spending my time so that way when I'm away from work I can focus on my daughter, and when I'm at work I can focus on work. And so it dawned on me when I came back on maternity, like, yeah, the way I used to work before is not gonna keep working right now. So I needed to just find ways to be more intentional about how I manage my time. That was a challenge for sure, but I think I'm slowly but surely doing much better than that first year.
Did you reach out to other people to ask for some guidance, tips, and advice during that struggle time?
It's interesting because EY has like a coaching program for new parents. So when you come back from a parental leave, like you typically would get assigned like a coach who helps you with thinking through the best way to operate now as a parent who's also a working parent, right? And so I thought that coach really was very helpful. So she helped me during that transition time with sharing tips of how other working moms have managed their careers, how to think about my career, how to think about like my family and my work life outside of work. And I thought that was super helpful for me. I couldn't have done it by myself because this was my first time as a working parent. So I needed some guidance on how to do this and do it well.
Yeah, I could imagine how difficult it could be as being a mom and then also like senior manager now is more responsibilities on your plate and more staffs to manage. So it's pretty amazing that you can still do the job so well and then being as a mom of a 3-year-old daughter. That's amazing. And next question for you is about work-life balance because you say that you have to use the time intentionally. When you're at work, you work. When you're at home taking care of your daughter, you are mom, you're not a task manager, all left behind at work. So now when you're talking about work-life balance, do you feel like you have a good balance at this point after 3 years?
I think I really do have a good balance. It comes with just knowing that when I'm at work, I do my work very well. I serve my clients very well. I serve the partners that I work for very well. And so when I'm out of work, I don't feel any guilt of not working. I feel like I've done what I needed to do. And if something were to come up, like people have my cell phone number, they have my email that you can reach out to me. And if it's urgent, I'll find some time to respond and respond timely. So, and if I need to step away from work in the middle of the day to attend to something with my daughter or with her school, I feel like I have the flexibility to do that as well. Because now people trust me, they trust my work, they trust the quality of my work. And so I'm afforded that flexibility. And so I guess to answer in a nutshell, yes, I do feel like I have the balance because I can work well and I can also attend to my family well as well.
That's amazing. I like how you mentioned about trust. It takes a long time to build trust with your team. So can you share with me some tips and advice in your career, what you have done to build trust within your organization, within your team?
Yeah, I would say trust comes with just consistently delivering on your word, right? So if you tell someone today, hey, I'm going to work on X, Y, and Z, and I'll get it to you by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, like actually get it to them by 5 p.m. on Tuesday and actually deliver good work product. And so do that consistently with every single person that you work with, consistently throughout your career. Don't like do it only with person A and then with person B you give a lackadaisical service and then with person C you do something less even better. Like consistently deliver consistent service with everyone that you work with and stick to your word. And I think that's how you build trust with people. So that way, once you build trust with person A, person B, person C, then the news just spreads, right? Because we work in a people business and people talk. And so when people start talking about you and their messaging is consistent, I think that's when it really helps your brand and just helps build trust overall.
I like it. You also mentioned about brand. It's really important to build your brand, not just like, oh, I need to build my brand in social media. You can build your brand within your organization, showing that how you earn the trust from people, how you maintain a good work quality, and then how you consistently deliver good work quality as well. That's how you build the brand within the firm. But now you did not only build your brand within EY, you also built your brand within the social media, sharing your tips and advice about CPA exams, about CPA career, interview so many people. Now, Mike, I'm going to ask you the same question people normally ask me. How do you find the time to do all of this?
I will say it's a lot to work as a full-time professional who is responsible for your clients and responsible for the firm who pays you. And also as a working mother, responsible for my daughter and also have a passion for like giving back and sharing in the profession. So I think that the way I find time is just, it's a balancing act. I don't think I'm ever 100% in all three buckets. I'm never 100% like pouring into social media, 100% a mom and 100% a full-time an employee. Sometimes I'm like 100% here, maybe 80% here and maybe 20% with my social media. Cause like if I don't have that much time, I want to prioritize being a mother and doing my best with my clients and people that I work with. And so it was just a balancing act of, okay, maybe I have a little bit more downtime here and I just plan accordingly. Okay, maybe I can do a little bit more interviews during these time periods. And so I just find the balance and just using my time efficiently. Because also when you think about it, like there's sometimes like I would have spent like doing things that are maybe just, I would say frivolous, for lack of a better word. So like maybe just like watching a TV show or doing something else. And like, well, I could actually use this time to like maybe script a video, like, or do something else more meaningful and more productive with my time. So I feel like if you really do a time audit of yourself, which I have several times, like you find out that you have more time than you really think that you don't have, and you can fit in things, as many things as you can. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, and you're going to have to give up a lot of things that maybe are easier to do, right? It's easier to just sit on the couch and watch a TV show. It's easier to like do nothing. But like when you really do a time audit and like say, okay, is that really how I want to spend my time? Like what's the return of value of this time spent here? You see that maybe you could like free up a little bit more and do something more efficient with your time.
Hold on, you're not an audit. How can you do time audit? That's just funny when we use audit term, because sometimes I use audit term to my husband and he just like, you need to use another term, not audit, because whenever you say that, it seems like you're at work now and I'm not working with you. This is off work time.
That's funny.
Yeah, time audit. I like it. When you do the time audit, did you actually write down every single thing you do in one day, or you have to have a period of time like in 1 week or like in 2 weeks to see that what is how you should use your time more efficiently and more effectively?
So when I do a time audit, the way I typically approach it is I start out with what would be an ideal for me. Like when I look at 7 days in a week, 24 hours a day, so that's 7 times 24, which I believe is 166. But let me check my math because I still use a calculator for everything. 24 times 7. Yeah, 168 hours. So when I say, okay, I have 168 hours in a week, and I've actually done this, like for each day that I have 24 hours, how will I ideally like to spend my time in a productive way that makes me accomplish my goals, or at least puts me in the path towards accomplishing my goals? Like it's putting me in the right direction. And so I went to do this for Monday through Sunday for the 24 hours. Like I would say, okay, assuming I'm sleeping 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is ideal for me. I would like to get 7 to 8 hours a day. That's ideal. I would like to work out 1 hour or 30 minutes to 1 hour each day, every day. That's my ideal. I would like to spend at least 2 hours each day with my daughter. So when I put in everything that I need to do, this is where I have pockets of time. And how do I fill these pockets of time? What do I want to spend these pockets of time doing? Okay, yeah, it looks like I might have an hour here to actually watch a TV show. And then, okay, it sounds like Saturday might be the best time for that. It looks like I actually have 2 hours here to actually script a YouTube video. Okay, it looks like I have maybe 2 hours here to do additional learning and additional time investing in myself. So I would build like my ideal week. And then I was trying to make sure like each week that I'm living my life, I'm living it in my ideal format. It's what I would think, it's what I would say. And so that's what I've done. And so I typically would then check myself like each week that I'm going through. I'm like, well, did you spend your week similar to this schedule? And sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes the answer is yes. And so it forces me to think through, how are you spending your time? Are you actually spending your time in a manner that advances you towards your goals? Are you spending your time in a way that pushes you farther and farther away from your goals? And so I ask myself that question frequently. And so I have a plan of how I would like to spend my time. It's just a matter of executing on that plan.
That's impressive, Sharon. It's like you really use every single minute in your life for every single thing you want to achieve. That's incredibly amazing. Now, my question for you is that when you mentioned all about this time audit, all about in this 668, that's what you said?
168 hours. Yeah.
168 hours. Where do you find time for yourself, for self-care? Where do you find time to do something you enjoy, to relax, like for your hobbies?
And I think that's also important to me. Like self-care is something that I prioritize. Like working out is something I prioritize. Eating well is something I prioritize. And so in that calendar, it's in there. So like, okay, in the morning, I want to spend 30 minutes on my skin. I want to spend an hour working out. I want to spend an hour on the weekends, like just reading or like doing a hair care routine. So it's all in there. So making sure that, okay, I enjoy doing wellnessy type things. I enjoy doing self-care type things. Like I'm actually making time for those things. as well.
Very impressive. I have to audit my time now. After this conversation, I'm going to have to write down and then see what I did for that 168 hours last week, and did I do what I wanted? Because this is crazy. It seems like you must have a very strong discipline to follow your calendar. A lot of time I have to-do lists, and I say, okay, today I'm going to knock out all these items in my to-do list. And at the end of the day, I think I crossed probably about one item or two items. It was like, oh no, what did I do with my time? That I feel like you probably have to discipline yourself a lot to follow your calendar from the day that you study for CPA exam. You told me that you have a very specific plan to study for the CPA exam until now. You are a tax senior manager, and then being a mom, and then also managing a YouTube channel, and strong passion about this career. It seems like you have a very strong discipline in yourself. How do you maintain that? How do you keep it up with everything in your life?
And to be honest, I feel like some days are easier than others, right? Some days where you have less things to do, or you have less on your plate, or I feel like I would capitalize on those days where it's easy for me to actually hit my schedule to the T. And then those days are like a motivating factor. So I can remember, oh, well, on X day, you did it. So you can do it again. And so it just reminds me that, okay, if you could do it on X day, you could do it again. And sometimes it's not always trying to do it to 100%. Because like, if you're really hitting it 70 to 80% of the time, remember, this is an ideal world. Like, nothing in this world is ever ideal. This is my idealized version of myself. And so if I'm really hitting my idealized version 70 to 80% of the time, that's better than having no plan at all and just going with emotion and going with the flow. So that's what I tell myself, to just help myself stay on track, stay dedicated, stay disciplined, and also not get discouraged when I'm not doing it 100% of the time as well. Because I don't think I could ever fully do it 100% of the time, because that would really be overwhelming. But at least I have an idea of, this is what I would like to do, and then try and strive to get there.
Yeah, I love it. If you can finish 100% of everything you want, I think only robot can do that. Stay focused, get this one done, and move on to the next one. Don't have to worry about emotions and anything else. So that's just crazy. And we're going through a lot of milestones in your career, a lot of tips and advice that you provide throughout your career. I'm just curious if you can give some tips and advice for yourself 10 years ago or 11 years ago when you start this career. What would you advise yourself?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. So if I were to go back to myself 11 years ago, starting my career, I would just say this career has a lot to offer you. There's a lot of learning opportunities, a lot of like people who will pour into your career, who will develop and mentor you. Take advantage of everything they have to offer. Take advantage of all the career opportunities. Take advantage of the learning opportunities. Really spend the time to learn, spend the time to invest in yourself, spend the time to meet people, to build your relationships, and to follow up with those relationships. Stay in touch with people that you meet over time, because you just never know like how those relationships influence your career over time. So that's what I would tell myself going back.
I love that. That's what I think a lot of young professionals should take that advice as well. Take advantage of this career. We have a lot of different paths that you can take in this accounting profession. You don't have to be a tax manager. You can be an audit manager, advisory manager. If you don't like to be tax, audit, advisory, go out and become a controller, CFO, CEO, or working for a government office, or become a professor. A lot of options there for you to do it.
Yeah, professor is a good option.
Yeah, a lot of different options. And Sharon, we talk so much about this career tips and advice now. Now I would like to know something fun fact about yourself that people typically don't know about.
What's a fun fact? I feel like I shared it. So like really into like wellnessy type things. So I feel like if I had all the time in the world, I usually spend my free time reading books about like health and wellness, like working out, how to eat better, how to exercise better, how to live your life to be more optimal, to just be more healthy, and skincare, and like things like that really interest me. And so that's something I like to do for fun.
That's amazing. And what was the last time you and your daughter were doing something fun together?
When was the last time we did something fun together? I think flying to Texas was fun for her. She loves getting on the plane. And so usually when I travel with her, I don't tell her we're traveling until the night before. Because I feel like if I tell her any earlier, she will keep asking me, are we going tomorrow? Are we going tomorrow? Are we going tomorrow? And so usually, like, whenever I have to travel or fly with her, I just tell her the night before, hey, by the way, tomorrow we're getting on a plane. So that way it's already here. And so tomorrow we just get on the plane. But if I tell her a week in advance, I feel like every day of the week she's gonna ask me, "Are we going tomorrow? Are we going tomorrow?" But yeah, she loves traveling and she loves airplanes and just going to the airport. So I thought that was fun for her.
Wow, lucky you, because I know a lot of parents have a lot of issues traveling with kids, and they may not like have a good time on airplane at all. So your daughter loves airplane. That's something that saves you a lot of energy there.
Yeah, she's very well behaved because like people on the plane say, "Oh, your daughter is so well behaved," which is nice. Yeah, she has been traveling with me since she was, I want to say, like 3 or 4 months, and so I mean, at 3 or 4 months, she wasn't very good, obviously, because I remember one time she just cried the entire flight, and I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But over time, she has gotten better. I feel like she's at a very good spot right now.
That's good. That's good. I think I remember one time I was on the airplane and two pretty beautiful girls. They I think 3 or 4 years old, each of them. And they just walk around the aisle and then say hi to every single person. And the parent just said, come here, sit down, sit down. And then they went to say so excited, Happy, hi. It's so cute. Oh my God. But thank you so much for your time, Sharon, for sharing all the tips and advice about this CPA profession. And I'm looking forward to stay connected with you in the future.
Yes, thank you so much, Rosie. This was a great opportunity, and I'm always excited to share my experiences with people who are pursuing accounting, pursuing the CPA, and just always looking to invest and pour back because I feel like that's what has been done to me for my entire career. So good luck to everyone on your journey, on your career path, and just know that this profession will pay you back as much as you invest in it. So thank you so much.